If you're unfulfilled in your life, if you're just looking for that thing that you were created to do, this program is going to help you do that. We're going to help you align with your purpose. Hello, everyone, and welcome into another edition of Align with Your Purpose with your host, yours truly, Earl Hall. Make sure you do visit the website, www.alignwithyourpurpose.co, and everything is there, from the book to all the social media links you'll ever need to stay connected. And as you can see, we've got a very special guest today. Those of you that are watching the video portion of this anyhow, I have with me today an amazing guest, Brittany Blomsterberg. And I am so happy that you're here. Brittany, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Earl. I'm really excited to be here.
Well, you know, one of the things that I am so adamant about in the talks that I have just about every day is love is the end all be all.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at the things that you do and the background that you have, I know we're going to get into some great discussions about love and especially unconditional love today. But bring us up to date here. Tell us a bit about what it is that your focus is and your purpose with what you do in your business.
That's a great question. And I find myself evolving. So it changes consistently. You know, my aligning with my purpose. I feel like the purpose is constantly changing depending on what's going on at that moment. I think it always comes back down to supporting people and being able to connect with their true self.
Yes.
So removing the layers and being able to really live their life abundantly by being authentic. Because I do believe that we are all true love at our core. So that's really my purpose, is to get people to see that beauty and that light within. My tagline is be the beacon, but really it's about being your own beacon of love and light by first shining yourself, which then can allow other people to attract to that. And, you know, you get to create your own tribe that way as well. So
with the people that you talk to, because you probably talk to people every day about these types of things, is it something that you deal with every day about having people not look so much as to following the money, but following the bliss or following the passion?
Yeah. You mean, like, is that something that a topic that shows up within that? Absolutely. And it's interesting because of course the money is there. Money is just energy, right? That's just an exchange of energy. And I believe, though, people really get to experience whether that's abundance in money or what money is actually bringing to them, whether that's quality time with someone, whether that's traveling, whether that's creating a secure and safe place like their home. But the money comes when we are fully connected to ourselves. And that full connection, it doesn't have to be a place you have to get to, or it doesn't have to look a certain way. I think it changes all the time. But just whatever that looks like to you at the most in that moment helps to bring in more of that. Because if you're walking around in your own light, how else can you, it doesn't make sense not to be able to attract, something like that. Yeah.
You know, so many times, especially as we have this conversation and these conversations about love, so many times, especially in relationships, you know, people will look to that partner to make them happy. And you and I both know that if you're not happy within yourself, no one else is going to make you happy, and you can't do anything for anyone else. How important is it that we love ourselves more than anything else?
I think it's of the utmost importance. I don't think there's anything else to that.
Yeah.
I mean, exactly what you said. I think that when we're fully connected, or at least if our focus is the connection from within, then we're not trying to fill a void. We're not trying to create someone else to complete us. We're already feeling complete. And then we attract the kind of partner that is attracted to that in that polarity and complements us. And they're just a bonus. So our happiness and our emotions and our life isn't dictated by what they are doing or not doing, or expectations. You know, Eckhart Tolle talks about satisfaction, and that, you know, you're not looking to others to satisfy you, because it's so fleeting. You know, we're in our own world and we're dealing with our own stuff. And not everyone's going to be able to give us exactly what we need and exactly the way that we need it in every moment, but we can. And if we're giving that to ourselves, then we just get to open up to, complete unconditional love between the two of you as well as within. So
how is it that you found that, and this goes for men and women because I've been down this road myself. Before we become enlightened, as we say, and kind of start getting it, the patterns that men and women have, and maybe you can speak to one more than the other, of attracting the same jerk over and over again. How does this happen?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I've never done that. How does that happen?
How does that happen?
Question. Well, I think that I think, and I'm going to stop myself and actually shift it to I feel. So for me, I feel that, us attracting the same type of person is that we are still, either we're working through some insecurities or we're removing another layer. And there's something about that person that, we are trying to resolve within ourselves. There's many different models, approaches as a previous therapist and as a coach now. And there's different models that share different, reasons for that. And I do think though, we are like relationships, I feel like are here not to make us happy. They're to make us conscious. Right. And so if relationships are making us conscious, then we're going to get triggered and things are going to happen. And I believe that these people are part of our path for our own evolution, and not just for our own evolution, not in terms of an egoic way, but as a whole. I think it supports the world too. If you are, because each time you might go to that jerk, you are slowly removing, you're breaking away because you're learning more and more.
More and more.
You might have to learn that lesson 3, 4, 5, 8 times, but eventually, you can get to a space if you open up and you're aware and you want to be introspective with yourself, where you no longer are using that insecure space to fill a void. If you're feeling that self-love, you're not going to attract that jerk anymore because there's just no room.
What are some of the tools you give to people that you counsel with to kind of help them get through those types of situations?
Like in a relationship or attracting someone, or what do you mean?
All of that. Yeah.
All of it.
Getting out of the bad and maybe attracting the better or the good. It's like, these are the things, inquiring minds want to know, how do you find Mr. or Mrs. Right? You know what I mean?
Well, I think making yourself available. So there's proximity. So in terms of actually attracting someone, you want to put yourself in proximity, but you want to be absolutely clear on the kind of person you want to attract. So if you want to attract someone that maybe their value is very much into health and they want to take care of themselves, well, going to a fast food restaurant's probably not the place that you're going to attract someone that is going to have that value, right? You want to go to a gym or out on a hike, or put yourself in places where you're going to connect with them. That's more of the strategy component of it. But in terms of the actual work, it's gonna be within. So the tools, I'm trying to think, gosh, so many. One of them is to just have that dedicated time to yourself daily, where you give yourself that nourishment, body, mind, and spirit. So meditation.
Well, I know you do meditation. I know you do yoga. So I'm sure that, so this is your lifestyle here.
Yes. Well, and I think that's actually such a good point, because it is about lifestyle. It's part of it has become part of my identity. It's not just what I do, it's who I am. So my biggest umbrella that I connect with is like my intention for the day is, what am I going to do, or what I'm going to be today to really nourish myself and to connect with me. So that could look like a meditation, and I'm not sitting here doing a 2-hour meditation. I'd love to if I can, but I don't have the time for that always. And I don't think a lot of people do, especially if you have children. So even if you're just sitting there and you're closing your eyes and you're putting your hand on your heart and you're taking 3 deep breaths, and you're bringing your attention from your head down to your heart space.
Yeah.
And you ask yourself powerful questions. You ask yourself questions of intention. So like, what is my truth today? Or what does my heart need today? Or, and allow that to come up without forcing it. You're just creating the space, because those messages are always around. We're just usually distracting or busying ourselves. So that's a big tool. I mean, definitely having a support system. I like to use yoga. I mean, getting a coach. I know you're a coach. I obviously recommend coaching. I do spiritual coaching myself. Reiki, I also do. So energy healing. These are things that you can do. But in terms of like doing things at home, absolutely. Meditation is one. Movement, whatever that is. For women, I love having them connect with their feminine through whether it's yoga or dancing is a big one. Even if you take 2 minutes a day and you just jam it out and you move and allow yourself to be fluid, it really helps a woman connect to their feminine energy. So, and same for the man, I mean, it may not be dancing, but it may be something where you're needing to connect with that power. So whatever that looks like for you, if that is like going on a hardcore run or lifting weights for 20 minutes or whatever that is, it doesn't have to be gender, just whatever energy you're trying to connect with. So
let's talk a little bit, because one of my good friends does Reiki as well. And I don't know that much about it, but I'm fascinated by the concept of being able to transfer that energy and kind of heal people in whatever it is that they need. Is Reiki more something that is a physical healing of like cancer, or is it spiritual healing, like getting over emotional problems? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'm glad you bring that up, because I think there is some confusion as to what it provides or what it actually is. So Reiki, it's an ancient Japanese healing modality, and it means universal life energy. So it's actually I'm connecting my energy with the person that I am serving, and connecting also to there's energy all around us, right? That kinetic energy always. So some of it's transferring, but I'm not necessarily giving you my energy. I'm actually helping to move yours in different, so for instance, maybe in your chakra points. So these are our energetic centers.
Right.
So I might be moving things through you just and with Reiki, you use gentle touch. So just gentle touch on the body, or sometimes we do use energy. So that is, our energetic fields actually are arms around us.
Yes.
So you might have Reiki healers that raise their hands kind of above the body. Every Reiki healer is different, but our purpose is to support the person in getting in the most relaxed, calm, comfortable state they can. We're actually here to facilitate your own body's natural way of healing. So it's not necessarily that I'm healing you. I am just helping to facilitate and move. I do have a lot of connection with energy. But and it does work with the openness of the patient or the client that you're working on. But essentially, when we're in our parasympathetic nervous response system, so this is our rest and digest versus our fight, flight, and freeze, which is the other one that we're most often in, and our cortisol is up and all of that. When we're in our parasympathetic nervous response system, so when you're resting, that's why our bodies are able to heal themselves. So for instance, obviously you go to the doctor and yes, they might prescribe something to you, but a lot of times they say you need to get some rest. You need to relax. Because when you do that, you don't necessarily have to do anything else except just allow your body to work through it. So I'm not saying it's still go to physicians, if there's something going on that's really wrong, definitely don't use this in place of that. But this is a great complement to it, and it does help to facilitate that relax, but it does work whatever the person is intending. It can be physically, it can be emotionally, mentally, spiritually, or all of the above. And I have had experiences in working with clients where they have had all of that movement in any of those areas.
It's interesting because I've had conversations, with people in the, metaphysical lifestyle, basically, that many of us have subscribed to. And it's interesting how you put it, is that it's not you healing them, but it's coming from within themselves. And so many times when people whether they go under hypnosis or whether they go to a medium or a psychic or a channeler, they think that it's the channeler that's giving them the information, when actually what's coming out is basically we use others for permission to listen to our own inner being.
I 100% agree with you.
It's kind of like, that's how I see that, with that. And so even in that light, in working with people to help them achieve results, whether in relationships or through healing methods, through Reiki and things of that nature, does it, or is it true that it is that person's faith or belief or whatever in what's inside of themselves that they have to tap into more than anything?
Absolutely. And however you look at it, spirituality for me is just our connection to our true self, which is pure love and light.
Yeah.
But whatever that is, it could be God, it can be nature, it can be, but yes, it's tapping into that ability within and creating the space to hear that. I do believe that there are people who, may have abilities to connect with something beyond, and maybe there are channels that do that. And I don't want to speak for all Reiki healers, but I do know that, as an overall, umbrella of that, and how I work is that I do have the ability to move energy, but it's still, I give the credit to the client. So, but it's just about tapping into that space. And if they have that belief, if I go to somebody and they are super skeptical and they're like, this isn't going to work, it's not going to work, it's not going to work, it's probably not going to work.
No, it's not going to work.
And it's similar to if you're being prescribed, like with studies with placebos, right? They're giving a sugar pill to their control group. And when they're taking that, whether they tell them if it is, they think it is what it's supposed to be, and then they get better, or vice versa, and they say that it's not, and then they don't, even though it has everything in it.
Yeah.
That plays such a role, what you believe and your openness.
Yes.
It's gonna, you can block so much, but you can also bring in so much positivity, and love yourself too. So
out of all the stuff that you do, besides, taking care of the house, you got the great orange pumpkin back there all ready for Halloween.
I got ready.
It's like,
I love it. I was telling you earlier, I did not strategically place that.
What is out of all the stuff that you do, what is the absolute favorite thing that is like, if I could just do this, if I had to exclude everything else and just do this one thing, what would that be for you?
Oh my gosh, that's such a beautiful question. And no one has ever asked me that. If I could do one thing, I would love to be with a tribe all the time, serving, like being with people in person, doing retreats all the time, and just being able to connect, I say with a tribe, I mean a tribe of healers to support a group who's wanting that service. Okay. Because I believe we all have such beautiful gifts. And even if, again, with different Reiki healers, they may have, like, my experience of doing it and their experience of doing it is going to be completely different, and it's going to serve different people. So I like that inclusion piece. I love this. I love talking to people one-on-one and just having spiritual, authentic conversations like that. I love more than anything. And I would say really when I feel, so for me, when I'm coaching somebody, I can tell when they intellectually understand something, right? So they intellectually get a concept or practice or all in your head. And that's still really helpful because that's usually the kind of the first step. That's the filter, right? That we have to get through sometimes. But for me, how I knew that I was an energy healer was even in working with people over the phone, because I work remotely as well with clients. I feel it. Like the second their body gets it, or their energy gets it, or their soul gets it, or whatever it might be, I get a complete energetic wave from top to bottom and bottom to top. And I know that they get it, or they have a breakthrough, or they connect with their light, and they finally see themselves the way I see them, or the people that love them the most see them. If I could do that all day long in whatever context that is, if I'm on the street hugging people and that happens, that's awesome. So coaching and Reiki and yoga, that holistic way, like those those are just some avenues that I have found that work, but ultimately that's what I love.
When you use the term energy healer, explain that to us a little bit. Energy healer. Give us, put that into context for us.
Into context. Yeah. So energy healer. So a lot of times, I mean, like we talked about earlier, I said money is just energy, right?
Yes,
It's
yes.
shifting. Like there is an actual tangible piece of paper.
Absolutely.
But it is, it is an energetic exchange. So for me, energy healer, well, I mean, if we're all made up of energy, it's about being able to move that. So whether it's emotions or energy, if you notice, for instance, like you get really, really mad at something, or rage or anger, something shows up for you, or someone cuts you off.
I never get that. I never get angry. Nothing upsets me.
We never get angry.
I'm
right.
so calm.
Super zen all the time. But when that happens, a lot of times we need to react, right? And that's why we'll react in some ways. Some people get violent, some people yell, some people, because that it's energy that needs to move.
Gotcha.
If you can interrupt that somewhere and use
I just got that. It's energy that needs to move. I just got that. Okay.
Yeah. And when you can find a way to do it, and then it becomes a response, to whatever's going on.
Okay.
But it still needs to move through you. So energy healing is about being able to it's not healing your energy, rather it's about moving the energy, but in that capacity, when you're moving it, whatever that looks like, healing occurs.
Okay.
So that's a great distinction. Thank you for asking that.
Oh God, no, thank you for the explanation.
Yeah.
So many times we talk about, people will talk about their emotions and their feelings or their vibration, and men especially have this thing of just holding it in. And a lot of times, because we may not know how to release that anger or frustration, because it might be too violent or too scary for the kids to see, or the wife to be exposed to. So many times let me just hold this in, so I don't do something I ought not do, and so with the explanation that you gave of learning how to move that energy, that just hit me. It hit me like right here when you said that, and just being able to move that energy. So you ought to have clients, male clients, just lined up at the door.
I love working with women, but I love working with men. They're so much fun. And I mean, it looks different, but it's a constriction, right? You're holding it in, but we can't do that for very long. Our cup's going to get full, and then it's going to explode, and we're not, because a lot of times we're trying to have control, right? But ultimately, at some point, it's going to overflow, and we're a pressure cooker, and it's going to go off at probably inopportune time. So might as well let it out in sips, in ways that resonate with you, whoever it is. So absolutely.
Well, Brittany, how can people work with you? Because I'm super excited about being able to share what it is that you do with my entire audience, and hoping people will just contact you left and right. What are the best ways that people can reach out to you online?
Yeah, you can absolutely. So I think you're going to have all my links, but you can connect with me at brittanyblomsterberg.org. That's a mouthful, so you probably want to read it on the bottom there.
It'll be in the description.
Exactly. It's quite a doozy. So that's one way you can connect with me. I'm also on Facebook, same thing, my name. I'm on Instagram with my name. On any of those methods, you're welcome to just direct message me. But through my website, I actually have a connection tab, and you can it'll send me a direct email.
Okay.
And I like to offer 30-minute complimentary, I call them alignment sessions. So technically they're a consulting session, but for me, I like to call them alignment, because I want my clients to one, see what I'm here to offer, to see if they feel aligned with it. And if I feel aligned with it too, I think it's important that we both feel that it's a good match.
Yeah.
Because I ultimately, I want someone to get the best service that they possibly can. So if for some reason it doesn't feel aligned for them, I have many people that are phenomenal and would be able to support them, that I would be happy to connect them with. But that is one way that you can reach out to me, and we can have that little 30-minute session, and we'll work through some of the things that is going on with them or with you or whoever's listening.
Yeah.
And then we can go ahead and I will kind of explain to you how the process will go moving forward. Okay,
awesome. Well, Brittany, thank you so much for being here with us today. This has been great for me. I got an aha moment with the moving the energy thing. So, and I want to thank everyone for joining us today, watching Align with Your Purpose. I'm your host, Earl Hall. Make sure you do check out the website, www.alignwithyourpurpose.co. Make sure you check the links in the description so you know exactly how to get a hold to Brittany as well. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Okay.